Roughly 65 million Americans are over the age of 65 in 2026. The financial industry markets to them as if every single one of them is a $700,000 plus client waiting for a pitch. The actual count is much smaller. And I can show you the precise number by running the population through 5 sequential filters drawn from the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances and IRS retirement account data. The starting pool is 65 million. Each filter strips out the retirees who fail it. Filter 1, any retirement savings at all. Filter 2, $100,000 or more. Filter 3, $300,000 or more. Filter 4, $500,000 or more. Filter 5, $700,000 or more. After the 5th filter, the remaining count is what this video is built to deliver. The methodology is transparent. The data source is the most recent Survey of Consumer Finances, the 2022 cycle, and the number at the end may surprise you. Before the filters begin, a quick note on what we are measuring. Retirement savings here means liquid financial assets earmarked for retirement. 401k plans, 403b plans, IRAs, Roth IRAs, SEP IRAs, and the cash value of defined contribution pension plans. We are not counting home equity, because home equity is not spendable income unless the home is sold. We are not counting Social Security or Medicare, since those are government income streams, rather than personal capital under the retiree's control. We are not counting business equity, vehicles, collectibles, or the primary residence. The 65 million figure is the projected U.S. population 65 and over heading into 2026. Every filter below cuts that pool down. Nothing in this analysis is hypothetical or projected. First filter. Any retirement savings at all, even $1 in a 401k, an IRA, or a Roth IRA. This filter sounds easy until you look at the actual data. The Federal Reserve's 2022 Survey of Consumer Finances shows that among households headed by someone 65 or older, only 51% held any assets in retirement-specific accounts. That means roughly 49%, close to 31.8 million American retirees enter their post-work years with nothing in any 401k, IRA, or defined contribution plan whatsoever. Their entire retirement income is some combination of Social Security, a defined benefit pension if they were lucky enough to have one, and whatever personal savings they managed to keep outside tax-advantaged accounts. This cohort is not random. It skews heavily female, heavily widowed, heavily concentrated among low-income service workers and gig workers, and heavily represented by Americans who spent their careers at small businesses that never offered an employer-sponsored plan. The retail cashier, the home health aide, the self-employed contractor who never set up a SEP IRA. They are not in this population because the financial industry is not selling investment products to people who don't have any accounts. From 65 million, we are now down to approximately 33.2 million American retirees who hold any retirement savings at all. Second filter, $100,000 or more in retirement savings. This is the first threshold where a financial advisor might consider a client relationship economically viable, and it strips out a far larger share of the population than it looks like it should. The 2022 Survey of Consumer Finances shows the median retirement account balance for households aged 65 to 74 who hold any retirement assets at all sits at approximately $200,000. But a median is the midpoint, not the average, and the distribution below the median is dense. A substantial share of the 33 million who passed Filter 1 hold balances well under $100,000. The average 401k balance for Americans in their 60s sits around $239,900, but that average is skewed hard by the top 10%. The median tells the real story. And for tens of millions of Americans, a lifetime of 401k contributions resulted in balances well under six figures by the time they retired. The cohort that fails this filter includes most retirees whose primary savings vehicle was a Roth IRA opened in their 50s, most workers who only accessed an employer plan in their 40s after decades at jobs with no retirement benefit, and anyone who drained their accounts during the 2008 financial crisis, a job loss, a divorce, or a medical emergency. Roughly 15 million additional retirees failed to clear $100,000 in retirement account assets. From 33.2 million, we are now down to approximately 18.2 million American retirees with $100,000 or more in retirement savings. Third filter, $300,000 or more. This is the threshold where a retiree can begin to draw a meaningful supplement to Social Security without rapidly depleting their principal. The 4% withdrawal rule applied to $300,000 produces $12,000 a year, roughly $1,000 a month added to Social Security, which averages around $22,000 a year for a typical American retiree. Below this threshold, registered savings function more like an emergency fund than a true retirement income source. The filter from $100,000 to $300,000 is brutal because it eliminates a wide swath of the American middle. Private sector workers who switched jobs multiple times and rolled over small 401k balances cluster heavily in the $100,000 to $250,000 band. Self-employed Americans who contributed inconsistently to SEP IRAs sit here. Women who took multiple years out of the workforce for caregiving, even those who returned to professional careers, frequently retire in this range due to the compounding gap those absent years created. Anyone whose savings rate stayed under 10% of gross income throughout most of their working life, even on solid incomes, lands here as well. Roughly 8 million of the 18 million who passed Filter 2 failed to clear $300,000. From 18.2 million, we are now down to approximately 10.2 million American retirees with $300,000 or more in retirement savings. Fourth filter, $500,000 or more. This is the figure most retirement calculators flag as the floor for what they call a comfortable retirement, assuming home ownership and average longevity. The cohorts that survive this filter share three traits with high consistency. They worked continuously in higher-paying sectors: finance, technology, federal government, healthcare, oil and gas, law, or professional services. They had access to either a defined benefit pension or a generously matched 401k for at least 20 years for all their career spans. And they were disciplined contributors throughout their 40s and 50s. Falling out at this filter are most public sector workers on modest defined benefit plans, most blue-collar workers who own paid-off homes but hold limited investment accounts, and most professional couples where only one spouse maintained large retirement contributions. The math at this threshold is unforgiving. To accumulate $500,000 in a 401k or IRA by age 65, an American needed to contribute roughly $6,000 a year for 30 years, starting at age 35, assuming a 6% average annual real return. And those contributions had to be consistent. Anyone who began saving seriously in their 40s, even at much higher rates, struggles to reach this number without an inheritance, a windfall, or an unusually generous employer match. The cut from 300,000 to 500,000 American retirees removes roughly 4.5 million American retirees. From 10.2 million, we are now down to approximately 5.7 million American retirees with $500,000 or more in retirement savings. Fifth filter, $700,000 or more. This is the threshold the financial industry's marketing presumes is normal. It is not. By this point in the funnel, we have already eliminated approximately 91% of the senior population, and the next cut is still significant. The retirees who clear $700,000 are concentrated in roughly 5 demographic clusters. Cluster 1. Federal government and large corporate executives with full defined benefit pensions, plus parallel IRA and 401k contributions, sustained over 30 or more years. Cluster 2. Senior corporate professionals, managers, directors, partners, specialists who maxed 401k contributions for 25 plus years and benefited from employer matching above 4%. Cluster 3. Successful self-employed business owners who used SEP IRAs or solo 401ks consistently and either sold their business at retirement or maintained ongoing passive income from it. Cluster 4. Dual income professional couples where both partners contributed to employer plans for decades and aggressively used Roth IRAs throughout their careers. Cluster 5. Americans who inherited substantial assets in their late 50s or early 60s and rolled what they could into tax-advantaged accounts. Outside these clusters, $700,000 in retirement accounts is genuinely rare. Geographically, the count concentrates in California, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Washington State, and the Washington, D.C. metro corridor, driven by higher historical wages, stronger corporate benefit penetration, and decades of tech and financial sector compensation. The cut from $500,000 to $700,000 removes roughly 2.7 million Americans from the pool. From 5.7 million, we are now down to approximately 3 million American retirees with $700,000 or more in retirement savings. That final count, roughly 3 million Americans, represents approximately 4.6% of all Americans 65 and over, less than 1 in 20. The financial industry's marketing, the commercials showing silver-haired couples on sailboats, the ads promising your million-dollar retirement plan, the wealth management seminars pitched at every retiree who walks into a brokerage branch, is targeting a demographic that exists but is dramatically smaller than the volume of advertising suggests. The remaining 62 million American retirees, which is to say 95.4% of the over 65 population, are running their post-work lives on some combination of Social Security, Medicare, defined benefit pensions where available, home equity if they own, and retirement account balances under $700,000. Many of them are doing fine. Some are struggling. A retiree with $350,000 saved, a paid-off house, and a modest pension can have a far more secure retirement than someone with $1.5 million in accounts and a $3,500 a month mortgage. The threshold is not destiny. The point of this exercise is not to declare any particular outcome bad. The point is to correct the picture. When industry marketing implies 65 million potential clients, the actual addressable population for $700,000 plus advisory products is closer to 3 million. The gap between those two numbers, 62 million Americans, is the gap between how the industry talks about American retirees and who American retirees actually are. The other 62 million are not a marketing failure. They are not a savings crisis on their own terms. They are the country. And any honest conversation about retirement in America has to start with that count, not the one the brochures keep showing.